Damn, dude. That's like our 5th poem of this episode. Slam it, dude.
Slammed.
Hold on, I had a song.
Oh, okay.
My good friend David and his good friend Chase talking about video games. Yeah, baby, this is the place. If you want some video game talk about stuff that's cool, maybe we'll mention Garen. Maybe we'll go to the pool. Okay, hold on. Let me bring it home. It's video game Podtimism, baby. Let's go.
Boom.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. That was good.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, welcome to the Chase Variety Hour, everybody. Where Chase sings songs straight off the dome. It's beautiful. That was great.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to really greet people warmly on this one.
I feel very greeted, and I'm burning up from the warmth of it.
Wow. Maybe a little too hot then. Perhaps. That's not exactly the intended effect.
Like, I'm pretty sure it's maybe 200 degrees in this room I'm in right now.
Okay, so you don't have the right armor for this place. I think you've gone to the wrong zone. I need
to go back down the mountain and get the good armor.
The red armor that'll let you walk through lava.
Exactly. Exactly.
I wonder what video game we're talking about today. I wonder what video game we could be referencing. Hello, it's Video Game Podtimism. It's the Optimist video game variety show.
Video game?
Where two best friends talk about the wonderful world of gaming. My name is Chase, and my favorite Samus suit is the Fusion suit.
Fusion suit's pretty good.
It kind of rips, don't it?
It do. I'm personally a fan. It rips. It rips hard.
I know. It was just funny that
hard.
it do was funny.
Let's move on. Everyone knows it rips. Okay, let's go on.
What's your name, man?
I'm David. And my favorite Samus suit is the Dark Samus suit.
Ooh, wow, edgy.
I'm very edgy. That's the only Samus I play in Smash Bros. At least.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know this about you.
Now you know.
No regular Samus to be found.
No, just Dark.
Do you feel like Dark Samus gets your mood?
I'm just a very complicated person.
Yeah.
So I really just need that dark, mysterious Samus to portray my dark, mysterious inner self.
Match your personality, yeah.
I'm kind of floaty, float around sometimes. Floatier than regular Samus, right?
Big fan of Under Oath and Taking Back Sunday.
Exactly. I mean, you can tell from this haircut right now that I got that, I'm trying to relive my emo roots.
Space hunter. That's emo mercenary.
Yeah.
Look at that guy.
I hunt mercenaries, but really in my spare time, I'm more of a poet.
Could you give me a little sampling?
I
lobbed you a real hard toss. I'm sorry.
Give me a second here. I'm communing with my inner self.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can rustle through and get the haiku that you wrote.
Yes. It's not going to be a haiku. It's just going to be something poetic.
Some slam poetry.
All of these space pirates. Is that a space dragon? I'm going to shoot them.
Oh.
Who am I? Slam! I wish how poetry slams actually ended was with people just yelling slam.
Slam! It'd be much more like wrestling, I think.
That's all I got. I'm not a poet.
No.
That was garbage. That was bad.
Hey.
I'm sorry. This is Video Game Podtimism.
You're not a poet, but that was not garbage.
Not a poet. Thank you. I was just trying to do an emo funny joke.
I hear you.
Thank you.
No, it was a great... You did it. I liked it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
My good friend David, have you been playing video games?
I have been.
May you please tell me about them. Indulge me.
I dove back into Demon Souls for New Game Plus.
Okay, sure.
Made quick work of the first boss.
Yeah.
then I'm just like, this just isn't quite hitting the same way the second time.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I had to scratch my itch somehow of just brutally tough games that demand a lot of you. Yeah. So I went to that good old PS collection and downloaded a Bloodborne.
Went back to the FromSoft. Well, we got plenty of video games down here.
I'm plundering through FromSoft right now. I'm diving deep. So I've been playing a lot of Bloodborne.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of this.
You've been talking about it a lot.
Unfortunately,
you talk about your blood tinge and your Orphan of Kos and whatever. Yep. So I'm in it now. I'm in it. I just got to Charnel Lane or something like that.
Hemwick Charnel Lane with all those ladies.
All them ladies trying to kill me.
Yep.
And I beat Vicar Amelia.
Jesus, dude. This Vicar Amelia fucked me up for a week. I had a hard time with
week.
So this was my first FromSoft game that I got into. So
sure.
This was the trial by fire that I really, really had to go through.
Yeah, just gotta hit her in the face.
Hit her in the face, don't get hit. Roll good.
Hit her in the face, don't get hit.
Yeah.
Roll good.
Yeah.
Use all of your blood vials.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was fun.
Cool.
She was tough.
You really got to learn the patterns on that one.
Yeah, that one was very much if you go too early, you mess yourself up even worse.
Yeah,
so they really were teaching you that one. She
definitely has huge swings sometimes, and you can do a couple of rolls, and she's still I'm fucking coming for you, dude. Here comes the big hit.
Also, the boss battles in this game are so intense because there's
frightening.
There's no sound like music for the whole game.
Yeah, no, you're just walking
around.
Then
when the boss battle comes, they just start blasting this intense choral gothic music. You're like, oh fuck, things are getting real. Every boss so far is just I've been playing it with headphones on. I'm take my headphones off. It's so quiet outside of my headphones. This music is just blasting me in my head.
Yeah,
but it's sweet music though, so I'm okay with it.
Especially that fight, the Vicar Amelia fight, because she is full-throated screaming at you the whole time.
Yeah. She's not messing around.
No, she wants to punch you real good.
She turned herself into a big old werewolf. Big old nasty wolf.
I love the story in Bloodborne. It is so much fun.
I'm confused.
Yes, definitely.
First of all, so much more confused after I touched that weird skull after you beat Vicar Amelia. I'm who are these people? What are they saying? I didn't even remember what they talked about after the cutscene ended. I'm that's by design. That's
kind of. I there's so much that you have to intuit from both the environment and kind of secondary sources almost. You really got to dig and talk to all the optional NPCs that are in this game to really get what's going on. And I'd say it probably doesn't make sense until kind of the end when you have all of the information.
All the data.
Yeah, no, it's bananas, but that's cool. I like that part.
But it's been really fun. It's been really fun. I like that it makes you play more aggro than Demon Souls.
Yep.
Demon Souls, you could just get a big old shield and just wait for someone to attack and then counterattack, and it's easy peasy. Whereas this one's wait, you don't get no shield, you get another gun. That's what you get in your other hand. You don't get to protect yourself, you get to shoot. Gotta figure it out.
I loved that they do give you a shield at some point, and it's just the worst.
It's garbage.
The description of it's only fools would use a shield or something like that.
The wooden shield. I tried using it for a bit. I'm just this sucks.
It's useless.
Just you use it, you get hit once, and then you're just totally open for an attack. And you're dead. Just no.
It's a joke. They made a joke about the shields.
They knew that after Dark Souls, ain't no hiding behind a shield in this gun.
Nope.
You got to get in it right up close and just shoot somebody in the face.
How does this compare to Dark Souls so far? Your enjoyment of it?
I've actually never played Dark Souls.
Or Demon Souls. Sorry.
Demon Souls. I still feel like I enjoy Demon Souls a little bit more so far. Just because, honestly, the graphics are so much better in Demon Souls.
They're phenomenal in Demon Souls. It's unbelievable.
Going to this game, I'm just I feel like that's kind of one of the reasons why I never got into a From Software game until Sekiro is because, I don't know, the graphics just aren't that great. they're kind of muddy and it's hard to see things. And like I'm already colorblind, so I think with just
true.
like the fuzzy outlines and textures of things just really bother my eyes.
Yeah.
A little bit more than maybe I was giving credit for after coming from Demon Souls, where everything is just like
Pristine.
so clean,
Incredible. Yeah.
immaculate lines. Everything just pops.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's, not to sound like a PS5 Judd boy right now, but
Elitist. Yeah.
it really is something that I think looking back was a big reason why I didn't get into some of the FromSoft games before, is because it was just so hard for me to predict movements of enemies because things were just so kind of grainy.
Yeah.
And I love like the vibe, like the tone that they're going for with the game comes through phenomenally well. I just wish a little bit more from the graphical fidelity of things would have made this game so much more incredible than it already is. I think it's a really great game, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And I think I probably like the gameplay better, but as a whole package, I think I like Demon Souls better so far.
Yeah, Bloodborne's like a 5-year-old game at this point, so it makes sense that it's a little rough. Like I said, when I started playing it too, I was like, like the frame rate's a little rough. Like, it does look a little muddy, and which is weird because like the sometimes you'll like kind of take a peek around and you're like, good lord, like this vista is beautiful, and like the castles are crazy, and like the environmental design is like, Jesus, this is so cool. But like your sword is like looks like a butt sometimes. Like it's just like, what is? I can barely see what's happening. But
you can't. It's hard to make out what's going on sometimes. But it's you manage, and it's still quite fun. Mm-hmm. I'm doing like a strength and endurance build right now, and I got the Kirk hammer. So I'm hammering it up.
I fucking love the Kirk hammer. I think that was the first one I went with because I was like, a sword that has a hammer on it. Yeah, dog. This is it. This is the fucking
This
weapon.
is the one. This is the one. I started off with the axe, but then I was like, nah, I need a hammer. So yeah, the game is really fun. I love the combat. It feels a little bit more freeing after Demon Souls, where it's just very much like, wait for them. Whereas this one's like, get up in their face, beat the shit out of them, and don't get hit, which is fun.
It's interesting that they're able to do that balance of like, to me, the conceit of a lot of the Demon Souls and Dark Souls, like you can see how they got there, right? Of like, I want to make this a difficult game. And in those games, you have to demonstrate patience more than anything else. Mm-hmm. Like know when they're going to hit, like, okay, I'm not going to beat this guy very quickly, but if I just don't like rush up in there, I'll be fine. Yeah. Whereas it seems like a much harder balance to strike of like it being both like fast and also you have to be very careful still. So it's interesting. I'm surprised that they were able to make it feel as fun as Bloodborne is.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Hell yeah. Are you playing any other video game?
Rocket League.
Still, yeah. What's your weekly check-in? How are you doing? How's your skill level?
Doing better.
Yeah.
I went into the training mode and I got a little bit better.
Hit the dojo.
I hit the dojo. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I've been playing with Jahan and Travis still, and we're a little clan.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really fun playing with them. I've been starting to score more goals and
hell yeah,
getting things in, and we all just kind of WhatsApp call together when we're doing it.
That's huge.
So we're just being video game bros. It's fun. It's a good time.
Yeah, cool.
That's it right now. Bloodborne has just been everything pretty much.
I get that. I hear that, sister.
Yeah. What about you? What have you been playing?
Well,
Bloodborne.
Unfortunately enough, Bloodborne. Also, I keep... this is the second run that I've done of this game recently, and I've beaten the game. I've beaten the DLC. I'm done. I have to declare it here that I will not do a third run of Bloodborne. I have to cut myself off because I'm trying to do a video game podcast, and I can't just every week say I'm playing fucking Bloodborne. This can't be the thing that I do.
Hey, why not?
I've already said all the things I think about it. Like
this is the Bloodcast with Chase.
You can talk about it because it's the first time playing it, so you have some interesting like ideas and opinions, having not played it yet. I'm just like, I beat Rom again, dude. Yay! It's with a different sword this time. Like it's not a fun thing to listen to.
There you go.
However, I did beat it. The Orphan of Kos was nothing this time. Got him on the second try.
Oh wow!
Not even a problem.
You were just predicting all of his moves perfectly, huh?
Yeah, I was trying to think of a Dragon Ball Z reference there. He's moving so fast, I can't even see him.
That's what the Orphan of Kos was thinking?
That's what the Orphan of Kos was thinking, yeah.
My eyes can't even keep up with his movements.
Thank you.
There you go.
I think that's also a Birder reference, isn't it?
Probably.
When he was fighting Birder, because he was going so quickly.
And Birder was like, I'm the fastest around. Goku's like,
yeah, right.
You
bet,
serious
dude.
right
Let's see.
now?
Let's
Yeah,
see.
bet.
Okay, so I beat Bloodborne and I'm like, okay, I gotta stop. I'm gonna go play some nice, interesting indie games. I'm gonna vibe out. I'm gonna, have interesting takes. And let me just download Dark Souls 3.
Oh,
Let me just go slip in there, see what's going on.
Oh, so you're also in a From Software craze right now. Have you played Dark Souls 3?
I have. I didn't beat it, but I've gotten pretty far into it.
Okay.
So now I'm just fucking playing Dark Souls 3 again. This is just where we're at, man.
Is it good?
It's great. I think, let me see. So as far as like my enjoyment of the series goes, it's hard to place Demon Souls just because it's so recent. Yeah, I think Demon Souls is really good and it's hard to compare it against the other ones just because it is so like buttery smooth and fresh and new in my mind. I think Dark Souls 3 feels closest to like the most modern just because it kind of came out the most recently other than Demon Souls. Other than like Sekiro, I guess.
Yeah.
And it like plays really well. It's in 60 frames a second, so it like feels pretty good. And it's like there's stuff that they kept from Bloodborne, like being able to charge up your attack with your R2 and shit like that. And it does play a little bit faster, it feels like, than the first Dark Souls. And obviously, like the world design is great. It has what's his name?
Miyazaki?
Yes, I think he was on Dark Souls 3 as well. And so like that influence definitely comes through.
Yeah, I think he's done all of them except Dark Souls 2.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So yeah, it's really good. It's really fun. I don't have a ton to say other than that. It's great. It's fucking Dark Souls.
Okay, good.
I've also been playing some Game Boy Advanced video games, David.
Oh, on your new weirdo Chinese device? It's from China?
I think it is. I'm not sure where it's actually built. The RG351P.
That's such a terrible name.
It's not a good name. The other one was called the Metroid, which is a lot better of a name rather than just some numbers and letters. But yes, I do have the RG351P. And I am playing only
legally obtained video games.
Yeah.
That I own.
Yeah.
No illegal stuff here. I'm not a pirate.
I've known Chase since he was 4.
I think so.
He's not a pirate, trust me.
Not be sailing the high seas here.
If anything, he's a person to get taken advantage of by a pirate.
I'm an Orlando Bloom type.
Yeah, he's an Orlando Bloom type. He's a nice guy. That's what I'm saying. He's a good man.
I'm just trying to sail the seas, and wouldn't you know it, old Johnny Pep has found me out here.
Johnny Pep. I don't know why that's so funny. I just imagine like a jalapeno that looks like Johnny Depp.
I was imagining a soft drink version of Johnny. Johnny Pep. Johnny Pepsi. Johnny Pep.
Pepsi commercial Johnny Depp. Johnny Pep.
But where's all the soft drink gone? Is my best Johnny Depp. I'm sorry. That's really as best I can do.
That was decent.
Serviceable. That was not my best
decent.
one. Yeah.
That was better than my poetry.
I don't know. Your poetry spoke volumes, David.
Who am I?
So yeah, I've been playing both of the Fire Emblem video games for the Game Boy Advanced, which are The Binding Blade and The Sacred Stones.
Those are cool. Those are cool names.
Those are cool names. I like both of them.
I like those, yeah.
I think I had played both back in the day. I remember, I think it's the Sacred Stones a little bit more, though. It's still really fun. I really like the game design of Fire Emblem, even back then. Like, the sort of like class-based system and like sort of having to choose your units before you go out is really cool. Mm-hmm. I like sort of the Rochambeau aspect of, you know, the spears and swords and axes all having weaknesses and strengths against other things, and, you know, having to like level up your dudes, and you eventually being able to like Pokemon-y like level them up into some other class is great. Mm-hmm. The story is definitely not as good as it is in Three Houses. Like, that was the big step forward in the last one, but it's still like, you know, fun. It's still an interesting like place to go and be. And I think, you know, there's an interesting enough story to kind of keep you going, but I'm really just there for the mechanics of the game. So it's really great. Also on this is something that's like a godsend. I wish every video game had this, but on the RG351P, It has like save states that you can do, like just on whenever you want to.
Mm-hmm.
And so going into Fire Emblem, that's like so much easier than like save scumming and like going back and starting over a level when somebody dies. You can just kind of quick save and be like, well, if this next turn goes bad, I'll just, reset to the last
Skip
one.
back real quick.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so that's a huge relief.
So you're saying you're cheating the natural system of the game.
A little bit, yeah. Too bad, Fire Emblem. I ain't having anybody dying.
Chase, that is immoral behavior, and I feel like you may be on the slippery slope to a pirate.
Arr. Arr. I think that's the pirate from Star Fox 64.
That was pretty good.
Let me try it again. Yeah, I was being a pirate.
What?
I was being a pirate.
Oh, that sounds like you.
Welcome, Emily Alice.
David said welcome.
The podcast?
Yeah.
Am I a featured guest now?
It seems like it, huh?
Hello, and welcome to the podcast.
Nice.
This is the
I
podcast.
think you should start with that.
Just a very blown out, echoey version of an introduction. Yeah, that's nice. What else am I playing? I'm also playing Metroid Zero Mission and Metroid Fusion.
On your RG 315p?
On my RG 351P.
351p. I'm sorry.
351P. Don't get it twisted.
You got 51, not 15 P's.
They increase the P's every year.
Yeah, you only got the 351. I got the 400p, baby.
That's a lot of P's.
A lot of P in me.
What?
I'm talking about my system.
Yeah. You talking about urine. That was the joke.
Hey. Fine, you got me.
Gotcha.
You got me.
These games are still very good. Metroid is still a very good video game. Well, more on that later. But yeah, these games hold up really well. I think Fusion is a little bit more interesting to me, just because it I think came out after Zero Mission. I'm not actually sure about that, but the design of it was definitely like, we've already done a lot of Metroids. Let's see what we can do differently. And so that was pretty neat. Zero Mission, I'm pretty sure that was a remake of the first one. So like they had a little bit of constraints there, but it's still a very good Metroid game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk more about this later. And then, David, the time has finally come.
Okay.
I have started playing Megaman Battle Network.
Is this a joke?
No, I am back in. I'm replaying Megaman Battle Network.
What is it about this game that just draws you back time and time again?
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time I've replayed it since playing it the first time.
Oh, how is it? Does it live up to your expectations?
The story is a lot sparser than I remember it being. For sure. I think also the first one is pretty sparse as far as story goes compared to the other entries. Like, they definitely do more setup in the other ones, but this one gets you in there and it gets moving pretty quick, which is nice. I also discovered a very interesting thing about this game that I had completely forgotten about.
What?
It is my original sin, David.
What?
There's a mechanic in Mega Man Battle Network. It's deck building, David.
Is it really?
It's deck building.
It's a deck building game.
The whole universe, like the curtain just peeled back, and I was like, of course.
It was Mega Man Battle Network behind the curtain this whole time.
It's always been Mega Man. I can't believe I didn't see it.
Oh, that's funny. Wow.
You essentially get chips that you can use in battle, and they randomly throw you to them during battle, and you use your little buster cannon or whatever. But that's actually a Dragon Ball Z attack that Trunks does. Sorry, everyone. But you got your little arm blaster, but you also get these chips that you can use that do more powerful attacks, and so eventually you can build a pretty good chip set where some attacks go with other attacks, and you get this interesting synergy that happens. And it just reminded me immediately of all these fucking games that I can't get enough of, David. It's
pretty much a deck building game. Yeah,
it's pretty much a deck building game. I can't believe I didn't remember that this is where it came from.
Yeah, I mean, you've rediscovered something about your inner self.
It's revelatory. I can't believe that this is the case. I'm shocked.
I mean, I'm not surprised with the number of times that you bring up this game.
Almost every episode.
And how every episode you're like, I'm playing this new indie roguelike deck building game. It's just like, oh, this whole time you've just been playing Mega Man Battle Network in different shapes. This whole time.
You know, in BioShock Infinite, where like you see all the other alternate timelines and all the like memories that you've lost.
It's all Mega Man Battle Network.
It's Mega Man Battle Network the whole way through, and I've been forgetting that that's where this has come from. That each time I'm playing these games, I'm just trying to recreate Mega Man Battle Network.
You're just trying to relive that glorious moment of your childhood.
I can't believe it, David.
Damn.
Anyways,
That's big. That's huge.
This game fucking rips. I love it so much.
Still good? Still holds up?
I mean, like, definitely there's stuff that has not aged quite as well. Like when you get onto the net and you're running around the net, the parts of it there tend to break down a little bit. Like there's random battles that just happen, right? Like any of the other like old RPGs. And that can get pretty tedious pretty fast of like, I'm just trying to go find my friend. I don't want to fight guys right now.
Sure.
And that part of it, I think, is definitely aged at this point. I really, really like the, not life sim, but almost Persona-like part of you leading this kind of normal life. And then also having this like alternate space that you go to as Mega Man that like everybody knows about this, right? Like the characters in the game are all aware that everybody has these net navis that can go log onto the internet and all these electronics and shit.
Net navis.
And net navigators for those not in the know. Like it's not so secret like it is in Persona, but I love the sort of contrast that these games have where there's a very regular life where you go to school and you have friends and like very regular life worries. And then also fucking Mega Man, dude, and we're gotta go fix the elevator because it's broken from a virus that you get to kill as Mega Man or something.
There you go. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just so fucking good. I love this game, David.
Well, I'm glad you are enjoying it so much and have discovered something about your true inner self, you've opened up your own Kingdom Hearts, it seems.
Oh yeah, definitely. Kingdom Hearts is Mega Man Battle Network, truly. Ansem opened that shit up. And
it opens up and just simple and clean plays, and then Mega Man pops out.
And the intro song, which also rips, plays when Kingdom Hearts opens up.
Can you sing it for me right now?
No, it's like a bunch of chip tunes, but I will play it. I will put it in the podcast.
Just sing it. It's chip tunes. You could use your voice. One of these times we're going to do a podcast without talking about Mega Man Battle Network.
And it will not be this one.
Do you think we've talked about Mega Man Battle Network or Garen on more episodes?
I hope it's Garen.
It might be closer than you think.
It might be. It's probably closer than I think. Anyway, this will all bring me to my Podtimistic thing of the week, David. The thing fueling my sense of Podtimism. It is the recently dropped Resident Evil 8 and its very, very tall lady that is in this video game.
Wait, Resident Evil 8's out?
No, a demo for it.
Oh, okay. There's a tall lady?
A very, very tall lady is in this video game.
What does that mean? Are you keeping it vague on purpose?
No. The internet just sort of exploded with their all at the same time love of this very tall, what I think is a vampire lady.
Because she's hot or something?
That appears to be the case. I believe
that's usually why the internet loves things. Sorry.
Yeah. I think Alana Pierce had tweeted, "Please step on me" or something like that.
Yeah. So it's some weird internet thing.
It's some weird internet thing, but man, do I love it when this happens, when the internet's like, Capcom comes out and they're like, okay, we've got a really serious, scary video game we're going to put out. It's Resident Evil 8, and there's vampires and scary shit going on. And the internet's response is, oh, a tall woman, you say? And
why does the internet love tall women now?
I am not totally clear, which is also part of it. It's not a traditionally like the internet doesn't always like this thing, but I love that all at once they're just like, oh man, she's like 7 feet. Hell yeah.
7? That's a really tall lady.
Let me check out how tall she is. I think they did figure this out. Okay, so somebody did some math. Sandra Elaine Allen appears to be about 7'7".
Oh my God.
Very tall.
Yao Ming.
She's big, yeah.
My God.
I think she's supposed to be pretty scary in her height, but the whole internet was just like, yeah, dude.
And Capcom's like, this had the opposite effect of what I intended.
God damn it. We were trying to be scary.
Wait, so it's vampires in this one?
I believe so. Or something
That's cool.
like it.
They haven't had vampires before.
Yeah, I'm interested in that.
Do you think I should play Resident Evil 7? I mean, it's for free now. So there's that.
I think you should try it. The first hour or two are really, really good and quite scary.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this a little bit, that I didn't love where it went, but
Yeah, you tell me.
I know that a lot of people do. And so I definitely own that is pretty much my interpretation. You may really like it. I don't know.
Okay.
There's definitely things that I think are really great in it. And so it could easily be the case that you like it. Also, if it's free, fuck it. I think the first hour is worth a play, so you might as well.
All right.
So yeah, I loved that response to it. It's hilarious.
Cool.
Is there anything fueling your sense of optimism this week, David?
Yeah, there is actually.
What is it?
It's being a platinum level gamer.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I'm plat
In Overwatch?
Rocket League.
Rocket League. I was like, yeah, we haven't talked about Overwatch in a while.
For some reason, Jahan, Trav, and I played 3-on-3 competitive for 10 placement matches, and Jahan and I both got platinum, which makes no sense to me. I'm not good at this game. I don't deserve this ranking.
What are the ratings? Is that normal? Yeah, it's pretty much the same as Overwatch, it looks like. Bronze, silver, gold, plat, diamond, and champion.
Yeah, so I got plat tier 1, which I guess is the lowest tier of plat.
Still plat, baby.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get into platinum as in Overwatch, so maybe you're just meant for this, David.
Guess so. Maybe I'm just meant to be a sock car player.
A pro gamer.
So platinum's middle, diamond, champion, grand champion, supersonic legend.
Whoa.
Pretty intense.
Hell yeah. So you're in platinum. You're grinding up. You're getting it.
Yeah. So there's that. That was fun.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I'm a sucker for giving me a quantifiable skill level.
Mm-hmm.
MMR in Dota, your Overwatch rank.
Yeah.
Definitely was grinding in Overwatch for a while, trying to get up to the next little tier.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah. What else? Oh, Halo always had that, the numbering system, especially in Halo 2, of here's your skill level. That was my shit.
Yeah. I don't think I saw you that summer, really.
No, that Halo 2 summer was a blur for sure.
The summer lost time.
It was, God, sack summers, dude. I this is so vivid in my memory of having the Windows swamp cooler just blasting all day trying to play Halo 2 while also not being in the 100-degree heat.
Yeah.
Nearly impossible.
Mm-hmm. Just sitting right next to that window cooler.
Oh yeah, baby.
Rattling away.
It's so hot. That thing is so loud. You can barely hear anything else.
Yep.
Hell yeah. Cool. Do you want to move on to our main thing then?
Let's do it.
Cool. So, first off, it's Good Games. It's a segment where we normally talk about the okayest games of yesteryear.
Not this time.
Not this time. We've got a special brand for you this time. But normally we talk about the okayest games of yesteryear, gush all about the things that we love about them and reimagine what they might look like today. But got sort of a very much more than okay video game this time.
Yeah.
Normally our bread and butter is remember this sort of odd game that had one cool thing that it did? This game has almost everything cool that it did. Mm-hmm. I texted you, what was the hardest game that you remember playing when you were younger? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you said?
Super Metroid.
Super fucking Metroid.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Super Metroid. There's a lot to say about this video game.
Mm-hmm. There sure is.
So apologies in advance if we don't cover your favorite topic about this game, but holy shit, there's a lot going on here.
Chase has a lot to say, is what he's saying.
I have some notes. But before we really get into it, why don't I hit you with some hot stats, David?
Let's hear it. Haven't had a hot stats in a minute.
Hot stats.
So this game, Super Metroid, came out on the SNES in North America, April 18th of 1994. Minute ago.
Damn.
It's a minute ago. 3 more years, it will be 30 years old.
Oh,
Painful.
No.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, no.
Yeah, baby. That's some That's some classic video gaming at this point.
Oh, God. It's true.
So this game was developed cooperatively between Intelligent Systems and Nintendo R&D 1. So Nintendo R&D 1 is like one of their oldest video game divisions within Nintendo. Like they've been around for the longest, and they are responsible for a ton of shit. But most things that you would maybe recognize are they're responsible for the Game Boy, the Virtual Boy, and the Game Boy Pocket as far as hardware goes. As far as software goes, they made Donkey Kong, Ice Climber, the original Metroid, Kid Icarus, Tetris, Dr. Mario, Wario Land, Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission, and Super Mario Land for the Game Boy.
Man, these guys have thrown out some heat.
Some pedigree with these folks.
Wow.
And then Intelligent Systems, you've probably seen before, but they are a second-party company that has also made some real bangers for Nintendo. They made Duck Hunt, nearly all of the Fire Emblem games.
Oh, wow.
Advanced Wars, the Paper Mario series, and then also co-developed Metroid and then the WarioWare games with Nintendo R&D 1. Oh, yeah. Some interesting things to talk about there, but holy shit, incredible.
Yeah.
So I have a review from a company called Interface.
All right.
They appear to be a Swedish game outlet.
Cool.
And they reviewed
Nojo Video?
Nojo Video. Joe Video had really good things to say about this game, and I kind of wanted to get the 70 out of 100 so we can shine about the video game. That's usually our shtick.
All right. Let's hear it.
So I got to prepare you. This review is poetic and might make you feel something.
This is our poetry cast.
It really is. We're bringing the feels and the reels this time.
Branching out this episode. All right, I'm ready.
Okay, all right. So I've run their review through Google Translate through about 50 different languages and then arrived back at English. And we'll see how that has treated this review. All right, let's hear what it sounds like when it's mangled through Google Translate. Quote, or sort of, the dark sound. How many trophies were serious? Came from a beautiful sound from the distance. Not happy. Not a hedgehog, but enough to move good ideas into the story. There are many tools that use ranges for different options, but thank you for keeping the parallax of the 3D scrolling game, which makes you feel beautiful. And I'm sure that unless there's danger of burying the room, our lives can't be. Reason to avoid summer cooking. 75 out of 100.
Wow. You know,
I don't know what happened to this review.
That made me feel.
That
made me feel. Oh my God.
I'm saying it spit it out. Google Translate gave this to me and I was like, okay. Again, the Google Translate guy who's working Google Translate was like, nah, I think I'm not going to give you the review, but I've been writing some shit, my
This
guy.
is just my personal poetry I'm going to throw in here right now.
I'm happy to put this amplify just a little bit. Not happy, not a hedgehog, but enough to move good ideas into the story.
You know, I'm less confused after hearing that than I am after watching any sort of Bloodborne cutscene.
That's true.
That was pretty good.
It was pretty good. Holy hell. I was moved by that review. So thank you, Interface. And Google
great.
Translate.
That was great.
At some point, we're going to have to come up with a name for the person who works at Google Translate who is giving us these gems.
Good old Larry Google.
Larry Google. Fresh Onion Larry. Is that who he is?
He's a immortal being. And he's just chosen to be a Google translator this time.
Yeah, I get that. And boy, howdy. I'm glad that he did.
Boy, howdy. Do you find like a new folksy saying to use every podcast?
You know, I don't know where this is coming from. I grew up in California. There's
boy,
not...
howdy. Oh, me, oh, my.
Oh, God. Okay. So let's get a little bit farther down the road here. So just for context, the first Metroid came out in August of 87, and then Metroid 2 came out in 91. And this one came out in 94. So while they were coming out at a regular pace, it wasn't particularly breakneck. And up until this point, they were pretty well reviewed, but not holy shit, this is an incredible, incredible game. They tended to be kind of middle of the road, B range, right? Until they came out with this game. Do you want to kind of explain to me what Super Metroid is for somebody who maybe hasn't played it before?
Yeah, so you play as a space bounty hunter named Samus. Very cool character.
Very cool, definitely.
You're essentially in a space battle suit. So imagine like a space suit, but it's armor instead of weird clothy material that breaks if there's a like micro asteroid storm.
Scratch. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just kick ass with your big old energy beam cannon on your arm, and it's like upgradable too. So you go around side scrolling in the environment, and you're discovering new places and seeing new things. But then every once in a while, there's an area of the map that you can't get to, and you don't know why. And then you get a power up, and you can come back, and it's like, oh, I need my grapple hook to get through here, my plasma grapple hook or whatever it is. So it's the game is traversal with combat mixed in between through a 2D like interconnected world.
Yeah.
And you're able to start traversing to new places once you get better, more powerful gear. So yeah, I think that's about the gist of it, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. It's on the surface not a particularly complicated game, right? Like
No.
Fight the dudes, fighting aliens, there's monsters, you go down to different planets and try and do some shit. On this one, I believe you're on Zebes, whatever he was.
Yeah.
And you are, I think the beginning of the game, which we should talk about, like you get to this planet and I think you're trying to recover like a stolen Metroid or something like that. Like in the first one, you discover these like little monsters named Metroids who are like, I think they're particularly strong. Like they can be harnessed for like energy or something. And actually, why don't we talk about the beginning of the game? Because I think it's fucking phenomenal. The like first 30 minutes of this video game, where it like gives you very little. Like it says like essentially what I just said. Like in the first one, you found the Metroid and you gave this little like remaining baby Metroid to these scientists, and they're probably going to use it as like an energy source to power some stuff. There's a distress signal that you found from this satellite or something like that, or this station that you're responding to, and it's all very like it reminds me a lot of Alien, the movie, where like just kind of dark, atmospheric, moody intro with like some low synths going on in the background, like as you're like this thing is typing along, and you go to this place and like the music is not. It's almost not there. Like there's not very much. Quiet.
Super quiet.
And like all you can really hear is like Samus running around and like some background like noises happening. No text after that beginning. Like you're just running through the station, and it like kind of looks sketchy. You're not really sure what's happening at first, but eventually you come upon this like would appear to be like team of scientists who are all like bloody and fucked up, which is also not a normal thing for a Nintendo game to be doing at the time. Like they're very much a family friendly company. And so like to have like blood in a video game was genuinely like, holy shit, right? Like people were freaking out about Mortal Kombat, and then they're tossing blood into Super Metroid. And they slowly sort of tell you the story just through like the visuals of the game, what's going on in the background of these places that like, it looks like the Metroid has escaped or something, but all the scientists are essentially dead. You run through to the end of this like hallway, and like this like beast at the end of it, you only see his eyes show up at the beginning. And then the lights turn on, and like this big fucking dragon shows up, and you have to fight him.
Dragon man.
Who is Ridley. What up? Cool character. He's also like a space pirate, not just like this dragon.
Yeah, he's more than just a dragon. Right? He's like a dragon leader. Pirate.
Right.
He's a pirate, space pirate dragon.
Which is just bananas and so cool.
Pretty cool combination of adjectives.
Yeah. And so you fight him, and he's like really difficult. I think you're kind of supposed to get your ass kicked in that section. And then it's kind of unclear what happens, but he like dips, and then there's this like countdown timer that's like, yo, this station's going to blow in 5 minutes.
About to go. Yeah.
Gotta go. You're essentially at the end of this room, and so there's nowhere to go but back. And so they force you to run through the place that you just came while these alarms are like blaring, and the music is getting like really intense at this point. Like it started up when you were fighting Ridley, and now it's just like terrifying. The like that whole shtick. There are now space pirates on the station who have like revealed themselves, or just little dudes that you kind of have to run through and fight and try and like move out of the way of. And it's not easy. Like you really do have to be moving at this part of the game.
Yeah, you gotta try.
Not to mention when there's this like this vertical section of the game where you had just kind of fallen before, and that now you have to like traverse and jump up through, and the whole screen starts like tilting and shifting to the left, sort of to indicate like the station's breaking. Like things are going badly.
Yeah.
And it's like hard, it's intense, and they like really like put you through the ringer at the beginning. It's like really thrilling. And then you get back to your ship, the station explodes, and I think you go down to the planet Zebes. Zebes.
It's fun to say.
I think at that point you're looking for the Metroid or looking for Ridley and his fucking gang. I think you're supposed to find and recover the Metroid. So
Yeah, before Ridley does, I believe.
right. And that's pretty much the beginning of the game. They don't give you very much else outside of that. Like they're just like, okay, go, and then you know the you play through the rest of the game. But yeah, Jesus, that intro is just fucking phenomenal.
It's real good. Yeah.
I can't believe that that's on SNES. Like a 30-year-old video game was making like an Uncharted level of polish and interesting intro. So yeah, very good.
Nice.
What do you love about this game, David? What sticks out to you?
I mean, with all these games, it's the sense of exploration.
Yeah.
That's the biggest draw to me personally. Sense of exploration and like conquering the unknown or the unconquerable. Right. So, you know, when you just like the thought process, like, oh, you know, I can see this place up there. I bet it goes somewhere good.
Yeah.
And then when it finally does pay off that, oh, yeah, it opens up this whole other area with all this new stuff and all these new enemies. You're just like, oh, yeah, I called it. So it's kind of like meeting your expectations and letting you think like, oh, I like not telling you where to go, but giving you hints as to where you should go. Yeah. And then having those pay off, I think, is very rewarding when it happens.
Definitely. Yeah, no, the level design is exquisite in that way.
Yeah.
Like just constantly showing you something that is very obviously out of reach. That like you won't spend a lot of time like, am I going to be able to make that jump? It's like, no, I cannot make it there.
Obviously out of reach, but obviously someplace that it wants you to go. Yeah. So it's just like teasing you with what's going to come constantly. Yeah. All these games like this, these Metroidvania games that we call them nowadays. Yeah. That's their hallmark, really. More than anything else, and it's what really makes me love them. Because there's just something very primal about exploring an area and essentially conquering it. Yeah. By beating the game. That's probably what sticks out the most to me.
Yeah, I mean, like the scope of influence of this game is hard to overstate.
Yeah,
literally the genre Metroidvania, right? Like it's the first part of that. Yeah. And so it's the sheer influence is pretty astounding to me, just how much they got right here. I know that Metroid really, like the first one had some of this, right? Like the ability of, you know, they force you to go left and you can't get back until you get the little morph ball or whatever. Yeah. Like that sort of stuff is really cool, and they definitely do that, but I think it's just polished to a level that's like so cool here, and is just very much the template, right? Yeah. And it's still effective. Like you see this design ethos in a lot of modern Nintendo games, right? Like the big thing that Breath of the Wild did was just like take the reins off and say, go explore, go find something. We're going to give you the mechanics. Now go figure it out. Yeah. And that's here, right? Like it's already, they were already doing it with like the fun of Metroid is just wandering around and finding where you need to go and figuring out like, I don't think I can go over here, but what maybe what's over there. Or also something that's present in this game is the like just constant discoverability of like these secrets that you have. Yeah. Of like, well, that wall looks a little fishy. I bet I'll shoot it and something happens.
I love that. It
happens so often, and like that's very much Breath of the Wildy to me. That's very much like Mario Odyssey to me, of just giving you little hints of where something are and then rewarding you for being curious. I think is really, really cool.
Exactly. Or it's just like going through the whole game and you keep on seeing like a specific type of like, looks like a wall, but with like some cracks in it. Yeah. And you're just like, what's going on here? You try to bust it up, nothing happens. And then you come back with, what is the super missile?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. You come back, but like, this is the missing key. Yeah. And then you're going back and just discovering all this new stuff. It's so good. It's something just very rewarding about that.
Yeah, no, it's very good. I think it may be because I'm playing these games so much recently, but I keep drawing conclusions to Dark Souls with a lot of this stuff.
I bet Bloodborne was giving me huge Metroidvania, like 3D Metroidvania feels.
Yeah, the other day. And like I think that there's stuff that isn't necessarily a coincidence, right? Like I think the interconnected map is a really, really big part of those games in this game, where, you know, you'll run through some place and then discover some other way to get back With Bloodborne, it's not necessarily like an ability that you gain, but rather like I've gotten to this part of the level and now I can run through a place easier. Whereas in Metroid, it's like, well, I got the super missile. I can find a new path or whatever.
Yeah, I think Bloodborne, instead of making you find new weapons or like new power-ups, it makes you power up. Like as
true.
As a gamer, it's just like you got to be this good to get through.
Yeah,
and then it's like no problem. But
yeah, which is intrinsically pretty rewarding. Like that's pretty satisfying.
Yeah, it's great. So yeah, it was like, where was I the other day in Bloodborne? Like right at that fight at the great cathedral with Vicar Amelia. There's like, you can go into the fight, or you can go right to that church,
right,
or you can go left to that hole. And so it's just like, okay, which way do I want to go? I could do any of these. So you just it's just fun to explore and be like, is this the right way to go? What's over this way? Am I going to die? Maybe. Odds are yes, I will die.
Yeah, the threat of death is present at all times.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that part of it is very Bloodborne. I think Metroid does this a lot, where the game will be pretty quiet for a lot of time. Maybe some background music or stuff that's like just kind of atmospheric and not very intense. And then the boss shows up and all hell breaks loose. Like the music just unloads.
Yeah.
You were saying in Bloodborne, where, there's literally no music for a lot of sections. Then you fight Vicar Amelia and the chorus erupts. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
So crazy. So good.
It does that a lot. Which I think is really cool. And then, they're sort of they play with scale a lot in this game in the way that the FromSoft games do, where Ridley is big. A lot of the bosses are big in Metroid.
Yeah.
And they're trying to make you feel like kind of tiny, right? Like by comparison, you're going up against insurmountable odds. And in Dark Souls, I think that serves to make the player feel sort of insignificant, so your battles feel more impressive. But I think in Metroid, it's not the opposite, but throughout the whole game, there's this sort of motif of gaining power and getting stronger.
Yeah.
Whether that's through literally, learning how to wall jump, which is something the player can do from the beginning, or whether it's, getting a stronger blaster and so you can beat somebody faster. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. I'm sorry. It's the poetry episode.
Slam it, baby.
Slam it.
Sequel to Space Jam, Space Slam. Take all the
Space
greatest
Slams.
poets from American society.
Oh, man.
And onto a planet. And then the rest is Space Jam. And Bugs Bunny's there, of course.
That movie fucking rips. I like that idea.
That'd be good, right? I'd watch that. Space Slam. What poet would we use? Oh, it would be whoever that national youth poet at the inauguration.
She's a shoo-in. That's easy.
She's definitely the star of the film.
Yeah, I do kind of want LeBron James there still. I know it's not a movie about basketball, but have we ever asked LeBron James?
He's not just an athlete, Chase.
That's true. Have we ever asked him if he has poetry? He may have poetry.
He probably does. He's a very sensitive man.
Sick basketball haikus.
Yeah. Can you do a basketball haiku off the dome?
Bounce, 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 bounce. I am the basketball man. LeBron is my name.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
That was really good.
Thank you.
Right off the dome? That was great.
No problem.
That's great.
No problem.
Bounce, bounce,
Bounce,
bounce, bounce,
bounce,
bounce. I am the basketball man. LeBron
My
James. My name
is LeBron. No.
My name is LeBron.
LeBron. There you go.
Is LeBron. Yeah.
LeBron is my name.
LeBron is my name. Basketball is my game.
And that's how I beat Shaq. I don't know the backing.
Man, that was a bop and a half back in the day. My God.
Hell yeah. Good song.
Good song.
Okay, so I looked up the head designer of this game.
Mm-hmm. He designed just the heads.
Just the heads in this game. Just Samus's dome, Ridley's big scary head.
All the space pirate heads.
Yoshio Sakamoto is the name of this dude. And he designed a bunch of Nintendo games. Like Nintendo was definitely employing this dude to do some cool shit.
Okay.
Somehow, he managed to do both Super Metroid and WarioWare. Like, those are both they're children of his brain.
Wow.
I know.
What a man.
Those two, I get whiplash thinking about the differences between those two games.
There's some big differences between those two.
Yeah, but both very creative and interesting video games nonetheless. So I looked up and he had given this, I was just trying to do some research about the guy because I was like, I don't really know this person. Like, he's not as as like famous as, Miyamoto or like Hideo or something like that, or Cliffy B, my favorite American game designer.
Is he really our best? Sid Meier?
Neil Druckmann, maybe?
Gabe Newell?
I think maybe Corey Balrog is my choice.
Ooh. I'm totally okay with that one. Because he was God of War 2 and then the God of War remake?
Let me see. So
or is he God of War 3?
The newest God of War, he was like the director and story writer.
Yeah.
He was the cinematics director for Tomb Raider, that first one in that series, which was definitely the best one. And then he was initial design and story layout of God of War 3, game director of God of War 2. It doesn't look like he was involved in God of War 1. Or no, he was. He was the lead animator on God of War 1.
God of War 2, I think, is my favorite of the original trilogy.
I don't remember it very much, to be honest.
I remember we had that discussion in the Best of PlayStation podcast. Go back and listen. I think it's my favorite of the PlayStation, of the original trilogy. Like 3 has amazing visuals, but I don't think the gameplay is as good personally.
Yeah, fair. Anywho, so I was looking up some information about our boy Yoshio Sakamoto, Sakamoto, as I'm going to call him. And so he gave this GDC talk in 2010, and he mentioned specifically being a huge fan of Dario Argento, I think is how you pronounce it. He's this Italian movie maker. And Argento's biggest movies are like mostly horror films, as far as I could tell. Okay. Stuff like Deep Red, Suspiria, and Inferno are some of the ones that I checked out and like looked at.
Damn.
The movies are like deeply atmospheric. I texted our local resident movie expert, Jazz Brown.
I was about to say Jazz, especially horror movies. Yeah.
Yep. From the 70s specifically. I'm like, oh, I bet I know a guy who knows this. And just asked him like, hey, what do you know about this dude? And he had given me a bunch of information, but essentially said like the movies themselves are, quote, fucking gorgeous, but the story is kind of incomprehensible. And I like kind of flipped through, I think it was Suspiria on YouTube. Apparently the whole thing is on there. It's really interesting, like just comparing visually the shots from the movies to like a lot of the Super Metroid stuff, and like the color palettes specifically are pretty wild, right? Like all of like entirely blue, entirely red, pink, red, sort of a back and forth here, very blue, very red, very blue. Yeah, it reminds me a lot of like the Super Metroid stuff, right? Like the sections of the game that are like all one color palette or another, and that may just be a restriction of the console at the time, but they sort of made it intentional.
Sure, I see that.
And you can see a lot of that visual design coming through, where there's a lot of like atmosphere that they're building into the visuals of the game. Yeah. Again, connecting back to Dark Souls, they're doing a lot of environmental storytelling without really giving you a lot. It's also it was also interesting to see the connection between Argento's movies to Super Metroid, then to Dark Souls, because the description of the story makes very little sense, but it's gorgeous is a lot of Dark Souls, right? Like, yeah, it's incomprehensible at times, right? Like you're like, I have no clue what's going on here, but man, this game looks good and it plays incredible. Yeah, and so it's provocative. Exactly. It plays a lot more on like mood, right? Like and sort of the tone that they're communicating. And man, Metroid does that a lot. Super Metroid does that a lot with like the music and the sounds and sort of just like the scary atmosphere that they have. Totally. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. In the same GDC talk, Sakamoto came away and said, he himself has taken 4 tenets of being an effective creator from, his time as game designer. And he said that the first one is mood, like in Argento's films, like being able to set the mood of a video game very well.
Hey, he gets it.
He gets it, man. Super Metroid sets a fucking mood.
Tone zone. The
tone zone. And he said the other 3 are 2, timing, 3, foreshadowing, and 4, contrast. I thought that was it's sort of an interesting take on this stuff, because I feel like, especially in like school and shit like that, when they're talking about game design, mostly what I was absorbing was techniques to build a video game. But I think mood, timing, foreshadowing, and contrast are really difficult things to convey in a video game. Like, I feel like it's a lot, not straightforward, but it's a little bit more obvious on how to do that with film, right? Like the story is a little bit more easy to communicate, like foreshadowing or something, right? But like contrast and timing, how the hell do you do that in a video game?
Well, yeah, that's true. So what does he mean by contrast and timing? I get the other two, but what a specific like contrast between like how powerful you were in the beginning to how powerful you are now, and timing as in like actual physical button pressing, or like when things are revealed or when you do certain things.
See, that's why I think this is interesting, is because there's not a great answer. Like,
sure.
It could be applied to anything, right? Like, I think the timing question could be put to, you know, how quickly the beginning level starts to break bad, right? Like how long it's suspenseful and how long you're like, fuck, what is going on here? And sort of that slow build in the beginning of, I think something has gone wrong here, to eventually saying like, holy shit, there's a dragon and the space station's going to explode.
Yeah.
So any of that stuff, I think timing could also be applied to like the pretty wide swaths of game in Super Metroid where you're just running through hallways and fighting dudes and kind of like trying to get through, and then, you know, also like calm parts, and then just these sudden moments of like terror of fighting these like gigantic bosses or anything like that, right? Like there's all these sort of like ebbs and flows of how intense the game can be. But also, like you said, it could be a physical sort of thing, like how quickly the gun operates in this game, or you know, the timing of how enemies fight you, or something like that. Like you can apply that technique a lot to Demon Souls or Dark Souls, where the timing of the enemies and sort of them pantomiming like they're going to hit you is a really important part of that game.
Yep.
But yeah, so those things are interesting. The contrast is also really interesting because you can also apply that to a lot of spaces. I think the easiest one is the visual, right? Like a lot of the game is in this sort of dark, like bluish tinted background.
Sure.
And Samus is a bright orange character running around. Yeah. It's also contrasting, like she's this humanoid figure in a world that is otherwise devoid of humanoids, right? Like,
it's true.
It's all aliens. It's all sort of like this very weird, and dragons. Yeah. And then I think also, like we've sort of said before, the contrast between these like terrifying moments and then sort of the quiet downtime that you get in this game a lot. It's not all action. There's definitely sort of times that you're just kind of sitting or walking or, you know, in the save space, and the music is very subdued. So yeah, I thought that was fascinating. And also he designed WarioWare. Like the dude applied a lot of the same stuff, right?
It's true.
Timing. I think that, yeah, right. Like I think making a horror movie and making a comedy are not that far apart as far as like you're playing on similar stuff.
You're playing on expectations and subverting them somewhat, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Like a joke is funny in the same way that a jump scare is scary.
Yeah. You don't expect it.
Yeah. Right. Or, you know, sort of building towards some sort of moment, I guess, is it's present in both. And I think WarioWare plays with that in a really interesting way. Like the mood is definitely there. Like it's goofy and slapstick and weird, and
there's dancing
all
cats.
That sort of stuff. There's dancing cats.
It's one of my favorite gamer moments of all time. Sorry.
No, you're good. The timing is just like frantic in that video game. You're going from one mini game to the next.
Yeah.
And it is just fast. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. We could go on and on, but I found that interesting that he was applying stuff that isn't necessarily game design, like tenets, I suppose.
It's more like philosophy of game design.
Yeah, which is to me a little bit more interesting. Like techniques can be taught and are pretty well understood, but I think tenets that aren't necessarily about game mechanics are really, really interesting.
Yeah.
And you can see that in the games that we've played, right? Like you can sort of extract or extrapolate a lot of that same stuff from Dark Souls, which is fascinating. Yeah, so I thought that was cool. There's the last piece of like interview that I had found with him that I thought was interesting. Was he was in this was an interview from 2004. Sakamoto he was talking about Metroid Fusion and why he took away Samus's armor for certain sections of that game. He had said, "We thought the image of the armorless Samus, very defenseless, would really make players feel they were in her situation and make it feel real and threatening." It's like a scene out of a classic horror movie, an ugly, evil beast giving chase to its prey, whose weakness has now been exposed. I think being direct like that is the most effective way to raise tension. Samus is at the peak of her power when she fights Mother Brain, so having everything taken away and being left powerless was also going to make for the ultimate contest, which is one of our goals too.
Damn.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like, again, sort of fascinating to see that he's taking a lot of influence from horror movies, that like you can build very good tension in a video game in the same way of like take everything from the player very quickly and see what happens.
Make someone feel weak. Yeah.
Which, like Resident Evil plays on pretty frequently in the scarier parts of the games.
Oh, yeah. All the Souls games, you always feel like you're maybe too weak.
Yeah. Yeah, like maybe you can't do this.
Yeah, maybe it's like, maybe
you've got to...
I'm just not powerful enough. Or maybe I'm just too bad. Maybe I'm just bad at this game.
Not good enough, yeah.
As me. Not my character, but me.
It's funny. It's fascinating. I think this is an interesting dude and like just a phenomenal video game. I can't say it enough.
Yeah, it's excellent. If you've never played it, go play it. Do yourself a favor. It's really good.
There's also a lot of ways to play it too. Like it's not that hard of a game to get access to.
Your RG 351p.
You can play it there.
Play it there. Play it anywhere.
Yeah, I think just the last thing to touch on was just I wanted to reiterate how ahead of its time the level design was, and like I think so many games coming out at this time, like even Super Mario Bros or something like that, it's still very much like go to the right. That is the point of the game.
Yeah,
I think Metroid was one of the first games that I noticed that started teaching you like, hey, before you go the direction that we want you to go, you should check the other way. There's another hallway to the left. What do you think about going down there? And like I can't break that habit.
I gotta check everything.
Video game.
If I feel like I'm going the right way, I gotta go back the other way to make sure I get all the secrets. Get all the good stuff.
I genuinely think that that's like a Metroid design decision. Was that?
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, like they started doing that of like, okay, so we're gonna have this game that's sort of like asynchronous in a level, right? Like you're going in out of necessarily, there isn't necessarily an order. You can kind of do it in whatever order you want as far as like where you go and explore. But when you find an obvious route, there's also sort of like a corollary, like a contrast to what the right direction is. So I think it's just very cool.
Yeah.
Rewards your curiosity.
Sure does. Any game that does that is going to get a big thumbs up from me, I think.
Yeah, it pays off.
Most
like if they do it well, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is there any other stuff that you wanted to highlight or talk about with this game?
No, I don't think so.
Cool. What's your favorite power up?
I like the super missiles.
Super missiles are totally cool.
I just like blowing things up.
Yeah, cool power up. Definitely opens up the map.
Yeah.
Like I remember there being a lot of spaces I couldn't get to
just
without the...
Very useful, very powerful weapon.
Yeah.
So that's usually my favorite. What about you?
I don't know. I think learning how to wall jump was really cool, just because it's like sort of this reveal that you could have done it the whole time.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty neat, and like somebody probably figured out how to do it before then. And it's genuinely pretty useful. You can get to spots earlier in the game if you know how to wall jump, so that's cool. But I'm always a sucker for armor upgrades. If you can make me look a little bit cooler, oh baby, get them big old shoulder pads.
You got it. That's one of my few gripes with Bloodborne, is that the weapons don't start looking cooler when you upgrade them. They just look the same. But yeah, no, I do love a nice visual upgrade to my character.
Yeah, especially in this generation of games too. Like there just wasn't that much variance in the character that you were playing, and so being able to see progress visually on your character while you're playing was a pretty novel concept. Yeah. So that was cool. Did you play Metroid Prime?
No, I never played it. I never had a GameCube.
Oh yeah, I always forget. It was cool. I think Super Metroid probably holds up a little bit better. Just because the targeting system in Prime was like almost Z targeting, like you locked onto dudes and shot them that way.
Yeah.
I think first person games have kind of come a bit of a way since then, but there were also parts of it that definitely got the like tone zone thing down, but I think I still kind of favor the Super Metroid version of it.
The side scrollers are classic.
Yeah.
You know, a 3D game for some reason or another just never holds up as well unless they go with like a stylized style of graphics, like Wind Waker.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just eventually will look dated, no matter how good it looks.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that Hollow Knight is a 2D game. There's a reason that Ori is a 2D game. Like, I think there's a return to this design idea of like, it's much easier to control for very good level design when it is a 2D space and you're able to, sort of restrict the plane that people are able to go through, but still create a really sprawling and interconnected level.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's why the game design of something like Bloodborne or Dark Souls shines so well, is because it's like, holy shit, like they really managed to make this in 3D. Yeah, overall, fuck yeah, Super Metroid.
Fuck yeah, Super Metroid.
Cool. You got anything else you need to put out into the space here?
No, I'm good.
Let's see. Do you want to do the outro, or I do the outro? You did it last week, admirably, very good.
Oh, thank you. You can do it again. Go for it. It's your thing. It's your thing.
We'll bounce. Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, feel free whenever you want to. It's you took over a commanding lead last week.
Oh, why? Thank you.
But this week I'll do it. We are on Twitter at Podtimism if you want to come interact with us there. If you want to support the show, you can review us on Apple Podcasts. That is a great way to get more ears listening to this podcast. We recently switched podcasting hosts over to Anchor FM at the advice of some of the Into the Aether boys, which was quite helpful. It's a nice place, and I for whatever reason, I'm not sure if we're just on new places, but we are getting a bit of an increase in the folks listening. So thanks if you're new. Hello.
Greetings.
Hello. So yeah, if you're new, thanks for listening. Hello, welcome. And yeah, if you are really feeling it, if you think you know somebody who would love our pod, our brand of optimism, then feel free to share it with them. I bet that's a great way for a new friend to get a new pod.
Hey, everybody gets a new pod.
This year, 2021, one new friend, one new pod.
Makes sense to me.
That's the rule. That's the rule I'm living by.
2021, the one stands for one new friend, one new pod.
One new friend.
Yeah, one. Only one.
Yeah, please do not make more. That is not this year. That's next year.
Yeah,
sorry.
Next year. If you're doing it virtually, sure.
Yeah, no. Okay, let's see. I think that's it. David, do you have any gaming wisdom to play us out?
Yeah. Explore your world. Sometimes where you end up is going to be too difficult, but no matter what, you're still going to learn.
Damn, dude. That's like our 5th poem of this episode. Slam it, dude.
Slammed.
I feel like the outro may need to be just slam it at this point.
Slam it.
Slam it. Christ alive. I feel like the fucking Ginyu Force.
I was about to say, it feels like JoJo. Like there would be someone with a stand that's like a poetry slam. The poetry slam stand.
Oh, damn. It writes itself.
Oh, damn. The poetry slam stand.
Slam it. Good God. Okay, on 3, we'll say slam it and then the podcast. Ready?
Okay.
1.
Slam
2.
it.
Goodbye.